Welcome to day or part 5 of your video training on creating your signature talk. So our talk is coming together. Here's how the parts will come together. So for the first part is the kickoff. We covered that yesterday. Then is your bio. We're talking about that today. Then is the core teaching content. We covered that a couple days ago. And then is the offer. We covered that at the beginning. So the puzzles are coming together, and tomorrow you'll be organizing it all. So don't worry about it. It will come all together. Let's talk about your bio today. So this is actually, it's supposed to be pretty easy, but it's a pretty hard part for many folks because a lot of self-doubt comes in. There has not been a single client that I worked with of those who were at the beginning of the program who didn't admit that they had some doubt. Am I good enough to do this, right? Am I good enough to coach people if I don't have my life together? Am I good enough to be a health coach when I'm not perfectly fit and thin or whatever, right? Am I good enough to be a business coach? And I went through this myself, quite honestly, I don't know if you know one of my stories, but I had to shut down my restaurant and I almost filed for bankruptcy. One of my restaurants anyway, almost filed for bankruptcy, and it took me a long time to get out of it emotionally, right? And it kept coming up. How do I teach people how to do business? Almost filed for bankruptcy, right? So it was one of those things that just really gets you. So that are the doubts that you have to set aside and just accept. Everybody's dealing with that. Every single entrepreneur, when they're starting out, have that doubt. And I think this can help, actually. Writing out your bio first, you feel like you don't have anything to put on there, and you start digging and looking at your life and all the things you have actually done, not looking at what you have not done, but actually looking at what you have done, and it will start coming together, and you'll start realizing, wow, okay, yeah, I can do this, right? If you're a parent coach, I don't know, maybe you raised 2 kids and you didn't even like kids before, right? So it doesn't matter what it is exactly, but find some things you have accomplished. And it might take you might go blank and like, I don't know what to even put here. Or you might have a whole page. It just, it just depends. But let's just dive in. Right, so I'm going to put in a text below just a screenshot of my slide that I use for my bio, and I usually just kind of walk through it as if it were bullet points. Here's a couple of things. Don't inflate, don't deflate, stand your ground. You realize that you're an awesome being having made it here, and you're going to believe in yourself. And you do it by looking at the bio, creating it, and realizing all the good things you have accomplished, right? You don't have to make stuff up that you haven't done. You don't have to exaggerate. Because if you know that there's some exaggeration going on, right, even if it's slight, and you're an integrous person, it's going to show up on stage. You're going to know it. They're going to know it. So just own what you have done and what you have not, right? It's okay. Like, you're good enough. We're all good enough to do what we do. So let's dive in. I'm posting a bio of my example, right? I'm posting it below. I'm not going to walk you through it. But what I'll tell you, before I put it together, I was like, wow, who am I to run a business? Who am I to coach business? And only after I put it together, I realized, okay, no, I have coached tons and tons of people before. I worked in an incubator. I have an MBA. I'm a #1 best-selling author. I have owned restaurants. I was on the CNN. I traveled to a bunch of different countries. I've worked on 3 different continents. I have RV'd around the country. That came in later. But RV'd around the country. I did 30-something speaking engagements, and I spent 4 months just doing nothing because I could, right? Not nothing. I was meditating and doing some soul searching. So I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying this because I did not realize these things until I went through this exercise and wrote it down into a bullet pointed slide. So go through the exercise, write out at least 3 to 5 things that you can brag about. Sometimes it's good to split it between your past. You have your past on the left side of a slide, like the things you're doing in the past and what you're up to currently. That can work too. So now your turn. You don't have to make a slide, of course, just write it out. Take 10 minutes to do it. It shouldn't take more time, shouldn't take you half a day. So that's it for today. And don't forget, if you have not signed up for our speaker day, it's time. The seats are limited, and when they're gone, they're gone. And this is going to be the day in your life to empower you, to give you what you need, so that you can start teaching what you know and be good at it. All right, so the registration link is below, so go ahead and register if you have not. If you have, I can't wait to see you there, and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last part of our training, and now I'll tell you how to put it all together.